All right, guys. Let me just put this do not disturb on. All right, all right. Okay. So, for those who don't know, we are in jury deliberation in the trial involving Megan Pete, professionally known as Megan Thee Stallion, against content creator Milagro Cooper, Milagro Gramz, professionally known as Milagro Gramz. The jurors have had the case for the last 4 hours, and we're just here wait like many of those who are following this case, because this case can be a pivotal moment for those that are content creators that operate as media, and they move as media. So what we're waiting for is what to see whether or not these jurors believe that Megan Pete has proven her case against Milagro Gramz. This case has been going on for a week and a half, a week and a half, and both sides have made vigorous arguments as to why they should win their side. I tweeted yesterday that based on everything that I've heard in this trial from the reporting by many others, that Megan might not get the verdict that she's looking for as it relates to the defamation. The deep fake video, I think that they may have to split the baby on that one, because that video, if it's even shared and or promoted, it creates a narrative that people will adopt. So with that, I believe that this will be a split verdict. I believe that the defamation will not be able to be proven. I believe that Milagro Gramz is a member of the media, no different than many of you who create content and report through research on the current day's news topics. But again, the jurors makes the ultimate decision. The judge is leaving it up to the jurors. The judge in the case, who's been presiding over the case, has left for the day. Her colleague will be available if there is a verdict today. In most cases, if this verdict, when they go in deliberations just before the holiday, most people speculate that there will not be continue. The case will probably end today. I mean, in as far as having a verdict, but we have to see. We have to see if this will happen. Let's see who we got here. Who do we got here? With that said, those who have been covering the case from Florida have done a great job, with the exception of one individual. Shout out to Pammy Pam, the Low Intellect, Amon Wiggins, Brian from TMZ, and who else did I miss? Did I miss anyone? I think I might have missed someone. One person I do not acknowledge, and I will never acknowledge, but that's for my own reasons. Ladies and gentlemen, let's just see when we have a verdict. Make sure you're locked in whenever that happens. I'm heading to Florida, by the way. I'm heading there today for vacation. That's it, for vacation. Okay. Are we locked and loaded? We ready. We are ready, ladies and gentlemen. We are ready. Oh, Megan Kuniff. Okay, yeah, but she wasn't the one I wasn't trying to avoid saying. Megan Kuniff, who is a very big supporter of Megan Pete. This case This case involving the case involving Tory Lanez has catapulted Megan Kuniff into the world of hip hop coverage. Okay. Let's see here. All right. We might have to change my shades here. Hold on. Stand by, guys. Stand by. Let me change my shades here. Change them. Okay. I'm gonna change those for a second. Put the other ones on. Put the other ones on. Okay. Let's see. Okay, you know what I'm talking about. You know I ain't saying that name. Milagro is media. She is media, ladies and gentlemen. I'm standing on that. She's media. No matter what this listen, here's the thing. Some of you out here want to be taken serious as a member of the press. You guys have to try to follow most of the standards of professional journalism. A lot of you don't. But now, this is the second time, well, actually 3 times, if we include Alex Jones, content creators have been sued for doing certain things, for allegedly doing certain things. This one is different than the other 2 I'm referencing because there were cease and desist sent both to Alex Jones as well as to TK. Doesn't appear neither of them adhered to acknowledged the cease and desist. And so the case ended up that way. This one, I don't know. This one here, I know that Milagro never received a cease and desist, and the plaintiff went straight to the lawsuit. She doesn't have, well, I want to say Florida law, you have to put the person on notice. So I don't know how they were able to jump over that hurdle. You had to put the person on notice before you file suit. But apparently they jumped over that hurdle. Do you guys think that Megan Pete filed this lawsuit to bully Milagro? Because Milagro, by many accounts, is she doesn't have the following that the other content creators that have been covering the trial has. It's things that was done in this trial that you have to say that wasn't normal. It wasn't normal to see a case go right to trial without putting the person on notice. I do believe that had Milagro received a cease and desist, whatever the issue was, they would have probably been corrected. And I think here's the other thing that I believe, because when I covered the trial in Los Angeles, many people saw that Tory and Sunstar was rocking with Milagro. Tory spoke to a lot of members of the press, but it did appear that she had a more direct interaction with them. And listen, I've had direct communication with people that were on trial. Not so much during the trial, but I've had that happen. Now, this seems very personal to me. This right here, this case seems personal because she didn't go after the other big up content creators that amplified false narratives before the trial and during the trial. She went after Milagro Gramz. And she skipped over the sending of the cease and desist. So it does seem personal for me. No Zelle payments. Okay, let's talk about those Zelle payments. Milagro is not a big corporation. She's a one-person operation. Is it wrong for Tori and or the father to sponsor her? Is it wrong for that to happen? Because other people that you guys don't know were being sponsored during the trial as well. Other people were being sponsored during the trial as well. But do you think that sponsorship skewed her opinion of the case? And that's what the jurors are going to have to decide. That's what the jurors are going to have to decide. Because here's the thing. If we look, and I would say that 99% of the journalists that cover these cases have no connection to the cases. But in this case, it did appear that Megan Pete took it personal. And we do know that Milagro was going hard for Tori. So it's not a position I want to be in, and just because I know Milagro, which most of you know, I know her, and I've covered Megan Thee Stallion several times in her career, photographed her, everything. But this is a trial. This is not entertainment. While some of you think it's entertainment, it's not entertainment, especially when you may have to be paying someone for the rest of your life. That is not cool. That's actually a scary thought. And also, if this case is won by Megan Pete, it sends a powerful message to content creators, that celebrities, if they feel that you are defaming them and it's masked as an opinion, they're coming after you. So you gotta be very careful. Then ask yourself a question. Why haven't 90% of the media outlets and reporters haven't been sued over the years? One, in most cases, there's a bigger corporation that have lawyers that can vet the information going out there. But if you're talking in real time, you have to have knowledge of the law and defamation and slander. You have to have that knowledge when you speak. When I do shows, I give disclaimers. If someone's talking on my show and they're giving a strong opinion or they're making a claim against someone, I caution them and I say, hey, one, the opinions of my guests are not the opinions of myself or my brand. So you have to kind of police yourself as a content creator, journalist, member of the press. You have to kind of police yourself because this is getting very expensive for both sides, but especially for Milagro. And yeah, let's talk about the T. Ferris, that part. Now we have a jurisdictional issue. How did they convince the court that T. Ferris, the house that it was listed in under the lease, how did Megan have the ability to claim that she lived there? That's kind of interesting. That's interesting. How were they able to do that? Because both, I don't know if Megan Thee Stallion still lives in Texas, but they both from Texas. So things are kind of a little sketchy here. Things are looking a little sketchy here, and the jurisdictional issue is concerning when Milagro doesn't even live in Florida, nor does Megan. Now, listen, Van, I have to vet that part. I have to look into that. I have to look into that. Listen, I think it's going to be a split verdict. I think we're going to have a verdict real soon. It was passed oh my God, that was passed in less than 2 months ago. Well, Twitter said that. I need you to pull up the statute. Pull the statute up. Don't tell me what Twitter said. You know, Twitter begins wrong. Twitter begins wrong. So I think this will send a message to consumers. Are you really a consumer if you're making a comment? Are you really a consumer? I don't think you're a consumer. I think just one. I don't think you. Can a commenter be sued? I think that law hasn't been tested yet. I do think that if someone is making repetitive defamatory comments on various pages, they should be sued if we can find out who that person is. Because sometimes people run smear campaigns and mask their smear campaign under a pseudonym so they won't be identified. But that has to stop sooner than later. So, to your point, you probably can't get sued if you're making these comments and it's amplifying that message. So, yeah, you just got to be careful, be responsible. Don't come on, while you're sitting at your keyboard in your mama's basement or in your car, don't just say anything about people, because ultimately they don't have to listen. There's a statute of limitation when a person can react to a defamation claim. Don't be that person. Don't be that person. I did cover the case involving Tasha K. You guys know me. You know I covered that one. Yeah, don't be that person that falls. A lot of times people get on these I call them the internet streets, and I'm gonna tell you, this hasn't been tested yet, but it might be tested soon. They will literally create various screen names to taunt people, to defame people, and they say, well, no, Mary said it, then Sue said it, then Bob said it, but they all won. That shows the maliciousness of their act when they do that. Like, if you can't comment under your original name, then you probably shouldn't say nothing. Say it with your chest, say it with your name. But once they start start subpoenaing records, and we learned from this case that they were subpoenaing phone records, they were subpoenaing bank records, they were subpoenaing all kind of records to find out who said what and when and why. Follow the money trail, everything. If you're not prepared to go under that type of scrutiny in front of a jury of 6 in civil and a judge, yeah, you say, well, I ain't got no money, I don't care. Well, that may be cool for right now, but what if a judge said you can't get back on the internet for X amount of years? Federal judges can do that. Your First Amendment only gives you the right to free speech when you haven't violated someone else's right. So think about that. A lot of evidence. Think about that. Imagine you go to a courtroom and the judge said you cannot get on the internet. The internet in 2025 or 2026, you can't get on the internet for 5 years. Life as you know it is over. Life as you know it is over. You know, then you have to go back to the regular picking up a book. Oh, she said that was brought up in court and she confirmed it was her. Right. It's getting pushed to Monday. No verdict. Okay. Monday. So if it goes to Monday, think about this. If it goes to Monday, that gives the jurors time to research the case, because they probably confused a lot of stuff you heard in the trial from the reporting. It did appear that some of that stuff was coming across as confusing to jurors, that they weren't familiar with some of the lingo and the terms being used and the vernacular that was being used by Milagro. So they have the weekend, while they're not supposed to look at the news coverage, social media, anything, but this may make this over this holiday weekend, it may give them a little more time to process the information. Just think about it. It may give them a little more time to process the information. Well, I want to comment, but I'm going to hold off on that one because that statement's a little questionable. I'm going to hold off on that. But let me go ahead and get an update. I'll see you guys on the next live. Make sure you hold on. There you go. Stop. See, don't say people getting paid off. Who's paying who off? Because Milagro ain't paying nobody off. And why would Megan Pete need to pay anyone off if she believes she has a strong case? And then who's touching or tampering with a federal jury? Do you know how much time you can get tampering with a federal jury? This is a federal case. You tamper with any jury is a crime. But this is a federal case. No one's messing with. Think about all the money that's spent to even get to this point. No one's messing with this jury. That when people don't like the tone of the trial or the way the trial appears to be going, they said the jury's being paid off. That's far from the truth. But we'll see what happens. We'll see. With that, ladies and gentlemen, go to my Twitter page at Mr. Dennis Byron, as I will be tweeting. I just want to jump on here for a hot minute. Hold on a second. Hold on 1 second, guys. I got something. Hold on a second. As we end this live, I want everyone, and I mean everyone, to have a blessed, safe holiday. And if I don't see you during the holiday, I'll see you next week. With that, peace.